So, welcome to the first live stream of 2025. If you're listening, put 2025 in the chat. I want to know who you are. And I want to wish you, just from me to you, a happy new year. And I really hope that this year you are seen more than ever before. You earn more influence than ever before, and you earn the people's trust more than ever before for the people that you could actually help improve their life. So I just want to say that to start off the live before I go into what we will be covering today. And like I just said, if you're listening, put 2025 in the chat. I want to know who you are. Now, let's start. Okay. And I'm going to start with something very bold. Stop wasting time creating short form video in 2025. So I'm going to repeat what I just said. Stop wasting time creating short form videos in 2025. These are the words of one of the foremost digital marketing experts. He actually just shared this a few hours ago. I'm going to share with you who said this, why they said it, and what you should be putting your time, attention, and energy towards instead. Now, I want to be very clear that this information and what I'm about to share with you is for you if you're a business owner, if you are still in the trenches, so to speak, of building your business, of building your team. You really want to win in 2025, and you are willing to do also whatever it takes to build a personal brand, because you know that it will give you the best chance of your business not just surviving, but actually thriving in 2025. Now, let's get to who actually shared this and why they shared it, because I think the why behind what we will discover here is very important, especially for someone who I just mentioned. And again, if you want to go all in on your personal brand in 2025, then put 2025 in the comments. So I'm going to share my screen. We're going to listen to a video or part of a video together. And then I'm going to share the why behind that information. And what I just said is backed by data. So let's get to it. Okay. So the person who said this bold statement in a post just a few hours ago on LinkedIn is Neil Patel. Neil Patel is a very respected thought leader in the digital marketing space, has been for decades now. And there's a reason why he said this. So he says, stop wasting time on short form videos. Short form videos may be trendy, but they often deliver a low ROI. After we analyzed over 350,000 pieces of content across 41 businesses, the data was clear. Long-form content like webinars, blog posts, and live streams are consistently performing better. What's the key? Creating impactful long-form videos and repurposing them into short video clips will maximize your results without the extra effort. Focus on strategies that bring value and drive real revenue. And again, this is for you if you're a business owner who not just wants to build a personal brand to get views, but actually to build a personal brand to attract your dream clients and to drive real revenue in your business and to amplify the real influence that you have in whatever niche or expertise it is that your business is focused on or that you personally have. So what does this mean for you, and why is he saying this? Yes, he shared some of the data here, but I'm about to share two images that he has published within the last few weeks that also support this point. So I'm going to stop sharing here and I'm going to go forward. I see some of you putting 2025. I love it. Okay. So if you look at this slide, and I'm going to get rid of myself for a second, but if you look at this slide here, you'll see that he published this. It says content marketing tactics, cost versus ROI potential. And the bigger the circle, basically, the bigger the potential for ROI versus cost. And this is just backed up by what he shared in the post, which is you should probably be focused on webinars, the blogs, the live streams because you see that the bubble is much bigger compared to other things. And of course, tools, which is productizing whatever it is that you do. This one, though, is the real kicker for me because if you look at this one, it says cost versus payback period. And if you look at webinars, the cost to do a webinar, which is about a 1 hour to 2 hour training where you actually help people and they can decide at the end whether to pay you for your services or not, whether you're an actual expert in what it is that you do or not. It's kind of like a long form live. So you see that webinars is definitely the biggest, which is, you get the most bang for your buck basically within a 20-day period. Followed by that immediately are blog posts and live streams. And a live stream is kind of what I'm doing now. Now, as someone, and if you've ever done a live or if you're interested in doing more lives in 2025, put live in the comments. I want to know who you are. Now, as someone who not only has done hundreds or probably thousands at this point of short form video clips and who has hosted hundreds of webinars for 18 months during one period, I hosted 2 webinars a week, which if you know what it takes to host 1 webinar a month, you know how much work that actually is. And I've done hundreds of lives, especially on LinkedIn and now on YouTube as well. Tens of lives now on YouTube. But the point is that I, from personal experience, have also witnessed the power that is sharing useful information for free through a long form medium such as a webinar or a live stream or a blog. Now, the reason why this is critical is because if you're a business owner and you know what it is that you're talking about, you have the knowledge, you have the expertise, you have helped clients over and over again, your process works, and you're even maybe well-known in the industry in person, you shouldn't have to really prepare much to go live. It's probably the technical aspect that is more of the hindrance, which is really easy to learn with some guidance versus the actual knowledge. So if that's you, then you have such an advantage when it comes to going live. And if you were to just go live 30 minutes a week, then there could be so many clips from those 30 minutes. There could be 5 blogs or LinkedIn newsletters from those 30 minutes that are published from the actual transcript of what you're saying in the live video. And there could be anywhere between 1 to 4 to 5 long form videos that you then publish on something like YouTube if LinkedIn is your main platform. And what that would look like is if I went live and I said, these are the 5 things that you should be doing on LinkedIn in 2025, I could potentially have 6 videos for YouTube because one video is the entire video together. Then there could be 5 individual videos where it's focused one on each point. And if I can talk about that point anywhere between 7 to 10 minutes for each point, then I have that many long form videos. And so all of this to say that if your marketing strategy is kind of the invert, so if it's kind of like the reverse of what he's saying, where you're spending hours on short form video content and it feels like a huge lift, and you're sitting in front of a camera and you're reading a script and you feel unnatural, like your natural energy is just not coming out. And when you look at the camera, it seems robotic. And when you post, maybe you've been posting for 30 days now, you're just not getting the engagement or the views that you thought that you would. It probably, backed by the data, is better if you use that time and replace all the time that you're putting into short form into one long form video every single week, and then repurpose the long form video to get short video clips from that long form. It will have a higher chance of driving more revenue, and it gives you something more robust to repurpose blog posts, short video clips, other long form videos out of. And now there is a nuance to this, right? Because if you're not that confident in your expertise yet, or you're not that confident on camera yet, long form video is harder. And it may seem that you're more unnatural, more uncomfortable on long form video, especially on live. So you really have to have a certain level of self awareness. If someone's coming to me, they've never been on video before, they're a little bit self conscious, they need to build their confidence, they need to build their on camera skills, then what I would maybe advise for them is to do the 30 days of one video a day, grabbing the camera, sharing something useful or inspirational, but with the intention that after those 30 days, we will then level up to long form every single week, and specifically live, to then be repurposed into a long form video. If you have any questions about live video, long form video, whatever on, right now, just put it in the comments and I'll start answering the questions. And this is huge because I do see a lot of people that they never really elevate to long form and they never really elevate to live. And as we go, like we're already in 2025, it's the second day. But as we really ramp up into 2025, we as business owners, whether you realize it or not yet, have to understand that our competition on whatever feed it is that you're on, whether you're scrolling LinkedIn or whether you're scrolling TikTok or Instagram or Facebook or wherever, your competition is not only going to be human this year. A lot of your competition is going to also be AI. And there's two different types of AI level competition that you're going to be facing. There's going to be competitors of yours that will almost create their own AI personalities, their own AI influencers that will then compete with you in the feed. But then the actual organizations themselves have already shared, Meta being the first one, I believe, that has really gone all in and shared publicly. Last week, they just shared that, yeah, we're going to create our own AI influencers. The actual platform Meta is going to create AI influencers that will be competing with you in the feed. So it's not just going to be AI influencers created by competitors. It's also going to be AI influencers created by the actual platforms themselves. So imagine 6 to 8 months from now, if you're on a platform like Instagram, which is, you're already amongst a lot of people and competing, you're now also going to be competing against AI influencers created by your competitors that are around the same size as you or maybe a little bit bigger, or maybe Fortune 500 companies that also launch their own AI influencers. But also you're going to be competing against Meta's AI influencers. And that's just the reality of it. So if this is why I'm sharing this is because I really believe that if you could just build up a little bit of video confidence, you have the best advantage, and it is in your best interest, and it could be your blue ocean strategy that you go live. Because I at least know you're a real person, because I can maybe tell if I like your personality. I can see whether you're an expert in what it is that you do. I can ask you a question and see if you know what you're talking about. I can see how you also answer other people's questions, because it's not just the people that ask you questions. There's so many people that have become my clients that they're not the ones that necessarily ask questions on live streams or webinars, but they listen and pay attention to how I answer someone else's question that impresses them, and then they reach out in the DMs or whatever. And so this is your warning, so to speak, that if you're looking for the best chance to win in 2025 without having to compete against AI influencers in the feed constantly within the next 6 months, you should leverage live and build a live audience. I also believe that live audiences, in terms of live streams, they're really looking to learn. They're really looking to listen to the nuance of things, and they're that much more likely to go to webinars. I also believe that they'll be that much more likely to go to in-person events or to join communities in the future. And so that's kind of what I have to share with you today. So the question for you if I were you, how I would kind of organize myself is ask myself, okay, if I have to go live once a week, which is what I would advise, and I have to go live for 20 minutes or 30 minutes once a week, at the same day, at the same time, preferably, like a show, then where do I have the best chance of standing out? So, where should I go live? What platform or platforms? And, I have to mark it on my calendar. So, when is going to be the repeat time? Also, what needs to happen or what needs to be eliminated for that to happen. And in the short term, it may mean, okay, the 3 hours that I'm spending writing scripts or reading scripts and then putting captions on these short video clips that aren't necessarily bringing clients, I'm going to get rid of that because you may just be one person or have a small team. And I'm going to reallocate those 3 hours into live video prep, learning the tech, preparing the presentation, and then distributing that live video event through repurposing tools like Opus or Descript. Does that make sense? Put yes in the chat if that makes sense. So that's really the first thing. If any business owner listening to this that wants to increase their visibility, engagement, influence, and the inbound clientele that they attract in 2025 should be going live weekly. And you should have started this week, but let's just say that you don't. I would definitely start next week, and I would do whatever it takes to not just put it on the calendar, but keep it on the calendar over and over again. Now, let's just say, again, this goes to self-awareness. If you're not sure whether you're going to keep yourself accountable, maybe it means talking with someone that you know and saying, hey, make sure I go live. Maybe it means you reaching out to other people that go live so that they motivate you. But really, it should come down to you doing the work and preparing and practicing. A lot of people don't go live because they don't feel prepared. They don't feel prepared because they don't practice. They don't practice because it's not a priority. They don't prioritize it because they don't understand what's coming in terms of competition, in terms of that competition not just being human, but AI. So I hope that this was insightful for you. If you have any questions about how to start going live consistently, especially on a platform like LinkedIn, then message me on LinkedIn. I'm happy to help you. We could have a consultation. Now, there is a reason why I would suggest starting to go live on LinkedIn in particular. And it's because LinkedIn has the live event feature built into the platform. So not only can you filter your perfect prospects in advance through just titling the live event correctly. For example, let's say that I'm a mindset coach for soccer players, right? I could say mindset for pro athletes or mindset for soccer players. That could literally be the title. Why would anyone register if they're not a pro athlete or a soccer player or whatever? And why would they not register if they're not interested in improving their mindset? So it automatically builds a list of people that are interested in that particular title, or it's a self-filter. Where people go wrong with the live event feature on LinkedIn is they do very general topics. So they'll be like business mindset. That's anyone in business at any level. What does that mean? Okay. Or they'll just put mindset for 2025. Again, what does that mean? That's too general. Now that strategy may work if someone is just there more to build a community for views. Maybe on the back end, they have like a book, they're already successful. They're not really looking to get clients within a short amount of time on LinkedIn. They're really looking more for like followers and all of that. But for most business owners, acquiring inbound clients at some point does matter. So you'll increase the chances of that happening within a shorter amount of time if the title speaks to your perfect prospects. The other thing is the thumbnail. So you'll need a thumbnail to create a live event on LinkedIn. And what most people do is that they'll put the date, the time, they'll put like 25 things on the thumbnail when it should just be your face and the title. That's it. Don't worry about anything else. I should be able to read the title and I should be able to see who you are, even on mobile or even on the side of desktop where it's not the main thing that I'm looking at. And it may just be a suggested thing where it's literally this big. Okay. So you want to test that. The other, and you want to make sure that I could read it because not everyone's eyes may be perfect vision like yours. So just make sure that people can read it. Like white on red sometimes is really hard. Orange sometimes is really hard for people. You want it to be legible. You want it to be clear. The other thing is inviting the 1,000 people that you can invite per week in advance. If I do a live event on Monday, I'm not going to use my 1,000 invites because that's in just a few days. So if I were going to do a scheduled proper live video event on LinkedIn, I would probably do it earliest January 9th, January 10th, and I would take a full week for those 1,000 invites to accept. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, on LinkedIn through the live event feature, you could invite 1,000 of your first degree connections every single week for free. And you can filter those first degree connection invites through industry. So let's say that you need to target people in real estate. You can just go to the real estate people in your first degree network and then scroll down, select multiple of them, hundreds of them at a time, and then until you get to 1,000. And this is available even if you have premium or a free account. Now, the only time that it's not available is if you do not have at least 1,000 connections. So this is why it's important to grow to at least 4,000 or 5,000 connections on LinkedIn. And you could do that within 90 days if you're posting consistently good content, especially if you're just starting. And it's important because even if you did one a month, you could then tap out your 4,000 first degree connections. Okay. So the other thing is preparing the actual content. Don't just wing it. Think about more or less. I like to use outlines. I like to practice maybe in advance a couple of times and just see which direction I naturally go. Some people like to script them. I don't really advise that. If you're going to talk about something live, it should be something that you could talk about like this, almost that you talk about with your clients. You just need a little bit of organization to express your thoughts and some practice. So that's what I'm saying. If you only have 2 hours a week and you're already putting 2 of those hours and it feels like a heavy lift to do the short form video clips, then maybe you replace that for now until you master live video as a skill. So practice a little bit, make sure that you practice the tech in advance. I'll put a video in the description of how to actually go live with StreamYard and how to set up your tech. It may feel like riding a bike and eating the concrete the first few times, but you will eventually get it. And it's not that hard. It's only when you're doing these things, it could be frustrating. But just remember that when you see other creators, bigger creators, you may see someone like me go live all the time. Just remember that I still have moments where I'll record a video for YouTube or I'll go live on mute. It happened in December. I went live on mute for like 5 minutes. These things still happen. It's just that 15 minutes later, I brushed it off and I'm live again because I know that these things still happen. So don't catastrophize. It's not the end of the world. This happens to everyone. Everyone had to learn this tech at some point. And I have clients that are 76 plus years old that are doing this. So if they could do it, you could do it. And that are not proficient at, like self-proclaimed, they're like, I'm not good at tech. So and they're now like sometimes driving circles around me. So if they can learn these things, it just takes the ability to learn. Okay. So put learn in the chat if you're willing to just get through the frustrating times. And really, that is a differentiator, a separator between people that really want this and people that don't. The person that really doesn't may quit just after the first inconvenience. And I know that that's not you. So just stick in there when these things happen. It could be frustrating, but it doesn't mean that it's going to happen tomorrow. And it doesn't mean that the next video or the next live won't be the best one that you've ever done, because this is also not linear. So the other thing is, once you're actually live, you at some point want to engage your audience, answer their questions, but you also want to keep in mind you don't want to waste their time. You want to share things that are actually helpful for them. The more helpful and useful your content is, the more people will share it, the more people will actually put it into action, and the more people will be like, whoa, this person really knows what they're talking about. They share helpful stuff. How do I work with you? Or they'll just start to consume more of your content. So I see a lot of people that when they go live, they like to gatekeep everything. And the problem with that mentality is that if you're a gatekeeper and one of your competitors understands the value of sharing a lot of useful, helpful information for free and democratizes a lot of the information that you gatekeep, then you're like, people won't really know that you're an expert, that you actually know what you're talking about. And they won't, they'll be probably less willing to pay you through watching your content. Less likely to reach out and pay you. And I've seen this with a lot of people, by the way. Like, a lot of people used to gatekeep things. Like, in the recruiting industry, I've seen this where they used to gatekeep, how to write a resume. Well, what happens when your competitor has an AI tool for free that writes the resume better than potentially 90% of the other competitors, and they give it away for free? Or what happens when your competitor shares a 35-minute tutorial on YouTube on how to do all of those things for free, save for some nuance? If I watch that video and I want that guidance, I'm going to reach out to that person. They've given me a lot more than you, right? So we've entered into an era where the cost of gatekeeping a lot of the times is probably a cost that you can't afford in the long run. I'll just say it like that. Now, once you've done the live, you want to also put time to distribute, whatever it is that you're saying. So that means taking the recording, writing LinkedIn newsletters with whatever it is that you said in that recording. Like, just from this live, I could probably take that point of not being a gatekeeper, write a whole article on it, and it came from that little segment in this live. So there's probably 5 LinkedIn newsletters that will stem from this live that you're listening to right now, and YouTube videos, and then short video clips that will be distributed on LinkedIn, YouTube, and other platforms. And we're only 27 minutes in. So this is the power of live video streaming. And if I want to do a webinar, live video is a great way to build registrations for that webinar. Okay. And I have evidence of that too, especially LinkedIn. I'll be doing a whole video on that, basically how to leverage LinkedIn, live streaming, and the newsletters to build up a webinar registration list with something as simple as a Zoom registration page. You don't even need a fancy landing page or funnel. All right. So if you want to go all in 2025, just put 2025 in the chat. I want to know who you are. It's more so to connect with you than anything. If you're interested in becoming a business owner that goes live weekly, no matter what, that does it well, that does it so well, in fact, that you could repurpose that video for LinkedIn newsletters, blog posts, long form videos on YouTube, then message me on LinkedIn. And for those of you listening who want to learn more about LinkedIn in general, I'm hosting a challenge. It's a free challenge, 4 days. Go to yougrow.club to register, and I will see you there. God bless you and have a great day. Ciao.